from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcast that's here. If you're new, this is a podcast to keep you company like a friend in the deep dark night, a silly, goofy friend. So I'm really glad you're here to listen to this podcast. It is a bit different, but I hope the show, particularly this episode coming up, is first I'm going to have a long meandering intro. Talking about, a bunch of, talking about the structure of the show and stuff like that. And then later on, we'll have a butterfly on to tell us a story about kitty cats, and kitty cats listening to boy bands. I don't know if we've ever made anything. Is that the definition of cute? I'm not sure, but, welcome to Sleep With Me if you're new. I'm really glad you're here, and, I love making this podcast. If you're new, by the way, so this is like a hello. This is where I say hello. Then later on, then we'll have some support, and then we'll have a long meandering intro, which is meant to help ease you into bedtime. If you don't like the intros, we also have another show with just stories called Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. But most people like getting eased into bedtime through the intro. It's kind of like hanging out with a goofy friend. Then there'll be our guest, Bernie the Butterfly, and he'll talk about kitty cats. Should be great. Bernie's a bit different, just like I am. But I'm glad you're here. This is different. This is a sleep podcast, but it's a sleep podcast not meant to talk you to sleep, but to keep you company, and then you just fall asleep while I'm talking to you. So I'm really glad you're here, and and if you become a long-term listener, I'd love you to be a part of this show. Reach out to me, or, if you support the show, I'll reach back out to you. I'll send you a thank you video. Reach out. I want you to be feel like you're a part of something here, because you are, because we get through the deep, dark night together. So thanks so much. And here's, if you're interested in helping the show, I'll talk about a couple ways you can do it, or a couple companies that support the show. Thanks. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. All right, everybody, we're talking about tonight's sponsor, Quince. And I don't know how you like to spend your nights, but I got to ask you about your bedding and your sheets, right? How do you feel about them? Because Quince has options for you. They've got buttery soft sheets like the ones I got for my daughter to take to college. They have those crisp percale sheets. And now I'm looking at the hype of the Quince European linen, and I'm thinking, Scoots, it might be time to up your sheet game even more. Quince European linen sheets are light, breathable, and super soft with that perfectly lived-in vibe. Woven from 100% European flax linen, they have that heirloom quality that gets softer with each wash. And as I said, the same thing goes for their ultra plush duvets, quilts, pillows, and shams too. Quince has everything you need to level up your bed. But I didn't even get to the best part. Just like Quince's clothing, their bedding is half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost to the middle person and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Now, like I said, I have the Quince Percale gingham bedding right now in my bed, but wow. This European flax linen really sounds nice for summertime. And I already, in my shopping cart on Quince, I have a black short sleeve linen shirt. So I might as well add the bedding to it. Let your bed match the season with cool, relaxed bedding from Quince. Go to quince.com/sleep to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince. QUINCE.com/sleep to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and here's the listener I'm looking for. I don't know are you listening to me and hearing me, or are you going to tune me out? Okay, great, because that's what I'm looking. Somebody who can listen and hear me. Now, if you're new, you're occasional listener, you're temporary listener, you don't need to listen anymore. But you're listening and hearing me right now. Do you listen 4 nights a week or more? So the podcast is a pretty huge part of your week, right? Whether it's your work week, your school week, your parenting week, your week of existing as a human being in this world. Oh boy. 4 nights a week, right? So does the show make your life better? Those nights you listen to it 4 or more nights a week? Because it sounds like Sleep With Me is a part of your bedtime routine. And I'd love for your help at keeping it going. You that's specifically listening and hearing me right now, join us on Sleep With Me Plus. It's designed for people that listen to a lot of episodes. And it's designed so we can keep making a lot of episodes and keep the variety of the show coming. You'll get ad-free episodes. You'll get story-only full episodes. You'll get story-only episodes without ads. You'll get bonus episodes. And you can support the show at any of those 3 levels we have right now. Any level helps. Any amount of time that you're a listener and listening 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week that you're supporting the show. You're not just paying for your consumption of the show, but you're helping out people who can't afford to support the show too, or who just tune me out and ignore me. The people that aren't listening, or the people like, yeah, the podcast is valuable to me, but one day I'll help the show out. I get the sense you're not like that. You realize like how good you're going to feel. And believe me, the listening is just amazing on Sleep With Me Plus. But if Sleep With Me is a part of your bedtime routine 4 or more nights a week, and if you are listening to me, please consider supporting the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. You can support Dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, if you're looking for access to Sleep With Me Plus, to access to ad-free episodes, but you're not in a financial position to support the show, you can earn those for free. By referring people to free podcasts at our referral program, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. If you're like, yeah, I can't afford to support the show, but I really want some of that sweet, sweet bonus content on Sleep With Me Plus, sign up for our referral program and send me an email. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing? Trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, or I could distract you from whatever's keeping you awake. Yeah, so you could set it aside, and I guess I got distracted. I don't even know what I got distracted. I changed up the language there just to let you know how important it is, how important I consider my job of just distracting. Being a mild distraction is a job I take serious. So I'm really glad you're here, but now I forgot how my own podcast goes, even though I've made quite a few episodes. Yeah, you up all night, tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep. Welcome to the Sleeping Podcast. What you sleep, we do with a bedtime story. I don't know what part I got. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts on your mind, things you're thinking about. You know, you might have thoughts about the past, the present, the future, lots of thoughts at the same time, life rehearsal thoughts, you might have a lot of thoughts at bedtime, particularly thoughts where you say, couldn't we, I never understand. They say, couldn't we have covered this during the day today? You forgot. Oh, also, we should talk about all the stuff and I say, oh boy, but I'm just trying to go to sleep here. Can't you see I'm cozied up? And I say, yeah, but we got to cover. Oh no, really? Do we really need to? Do we really need? Oh yeah, we do. So those are some thoughts. Then sometimes there's feelings related to those thoughts, or there could be feelings that are just there, feelings left over from the day, feelings. According to mindfulness, my thoughts, and according to my observations, oh boy, that's when I, like they say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you describe appearances of your thoughts? And I'd say, oh boy. Say, sir, that's not on the scale. And I'd say, no, but I'm having a lot of thoughts and feelings. I mean, why, right now I'm having thoughts and feelings about performance pressure, about answering this imaginary survey, about a feelings scale. Well, sir, that's good information. We'll get back. I guess that was another Northern European Institute just dialed in. Through I don't know how they get access to my imagination like that, but they're there. So far, they only observe, which is, I say, can't you do it? Can't you do any work while you're in there? Oh no, sir, we're just taking note. Right, but couldn't you do some rearranging? Like, don't you got some sort of the Northern European Institute system? Oh no, sir, we're still gathering data. Okay, well, that's not going to help me. Well, sir, we're not we're going to use this information to help other people. Okay, well, that's great. I mean, for the other people, it's great for the other people. Believe it or not, I have a podcast that works the same way. I use the things, my thoughts, my feelings, all those other things that keep me up in the deep dark night to help other people out and to just normalize it for you. So it could be physical. It could also be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something, getting over something, in the middle of something. Whatever it is, I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of it, which is different. But the reason I do it, I mean, I kind of alluded to it earlier, is I've been there, right? I know what it's like not to be able to fall asleep and not to be able to get back to sleep, to really strongly desire going to sleep or to wake up too early. That was today. And I also know what it's like when you tell somebody else that sleep's fine and they don't mean to brush it off or to make you feel small. Or like you're from another world, but they do. Sometimes they do. Some people are good at that kind of stuff, but most people, they got their own stuff going on. And so they just say, I've done this before, but this is really what they say. Like, are your eyes closed when you're trying all this stuff? And there's, by the way, I said this before. If someone asks you a question like that, I'm not judging them. There's not a right answer. They say, well, are you, you're breathing through your nose or your mouth? There's got to be a way to, I guess this is where I'm trying to improve my skills. Like, there's got to be a question you can ask them back, because if you answer it, they're going to say, essentially, you're doing it wrong. They'll use a fancier terms than that. Say, are you breathing through your mouth or your nose? That's a question that in the imaginary sleep podcast, making up stuff business, we call a, preloaded question. I don't know. It's like sleep splaining. But what the person doesn't know, even that person who's kind of like knows a lot about nothing, say, are your eyes closed? And no matter what, I've learned, if you say yes, wrong. If you say no, wrong. if you have a time machine and you return to that moment and answer the question the opposite way, it's still but what they don't know is what it feels like. They know for them how it feels, but they don't know what it feels like on the inside when you can't sleep, how it feels in the deep, dark night, and how it feels to have somebody not get it, and that it doesn't feel good. But you can feel good here if you wish, if you think you want to stick around and check this show out. There's no pressure to even do that. This is a podcast, there's no pressure to even like me, and I make the podcast. You could just give this episode 3 tries and see what happens. But the thing is that the real goal of the podcast is that you don't feel as alone anymore. Without this being cloying or manipulative or false, that in a real way you don't feel as alone anymore, because you know there's people out there that I get to be the mouthpiece for or represent, listeners of Sleep With Me and other sleep podcasts, of people that are kind of stuck in the nighttime, and they know how it feels, and it doesn't just feel lonely. And there's some feelings that are maybe not even possible to put into words, but that's okay because we're together. I mean, it doesn't make it go away, right? And I'm not here to fight those feelings either. I'm here to kind of I'm kind of here to keep them company and barely entertain them, just like I'm here to do for you. But also let you know, whatever it is that's keeping you awake, there's enough people listening to this show and other sleep podcasts that there's other people out there that have been through something really similar and are really pulling for you. And that one day, maybe if you become a regular listener to this show, you'll be pulling for that new person, just like that person, that listener is pulling for you right now. Because there's people who are listening that are nodding their heads and smiling and feeling those good feelings that they're giving out to you as a gift and as like a connection. Like this is something we share, and it's a positive, negative, or negative, positive, or whatever. It's like, it's important for me to point that out over and over and over again. I don't feel like I can point it out enough. So, I mean, that's what I'm really here to do, so that ideally this podcast helps you out or something else, and that you get the sleep you need and you deserve, so your life could be more manageable tomorrow. And you could be out there living your life. And if you're out there living your life, that means our world's it's true. Our world's a better place with you in it, and you being able to live your life a little bit fuller. So what I do is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, which means my voice is not traditionally soothing. And I go off topic. I get mixed up. Have, Northern European institutes checking in, taking note, doing a survey in my brain while I'm talking. And I say a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. And also when you get here, you may be skeptical or doubtful. The more you listen to me, the more your skepticism and doubt, and maybe even irritation might grow. And that's okay. Like, I'm here to win your trust, but not to win you over. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Like, this show isn't going to work for everybody. And by the way, if it doesn't work for you, I have a website set up with other sleep podcasts on there. sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. So you could find something else that'll help you out. At this point in 2025, there's tons and tons and tons of versions of sleep podcasts. So check some of those out. But I hope this is the show that can help you out, because this show's different than everything else out there. Because it works for the people it works for, right? The other styles work for other people too. So that's the spirit of connection, right? It's like if this particular personality and style doesn't work for you, after you give it a few tries, or, some dudes are 100% certain right now, so that's fine too. And maybe you'll find something too, like on that list of shows, or just out there in the world. But But I don't want you to leave here without knowing you deserve a good night's sleep. And when you get to a sleep podcast, you're going to be skeptical and doubtful, and that's smart because why wouldn't you be? If you've had trouble sleeping like me most of your life, if you've tried a bunch of stuff that costs a lot of money, if you tried a lot of stuff that costs a lot of effort, or you've been told that you're doing it wrong over and over and over again, kind of wears on you, right? On top of not being able to sleep. And then you find something that somebody said, man, this podcast is great. It's called Sleep With Me. It's a sleep podcast. And you come with the expectation, and this show's different than most expectations. It's going to, it's going to take some time for me to win your trust over, build rapport if I can, but that doesn't mean I can, but give it a try to see how it goes. That's what most regular listeners say. At the first 2 or 3 tries, they're like, what is this guy going on about? And he doesn't seem to know anything, but he keeps talking. And eventually, some people move on, but then people are like, oh, wait, but I fell asleep at some point. I don't even know when, 30 minutes into the show. Then I woke up the next day. Because I'm really just here to be your friend talking. It's a podcast you just barely listen to. And it's a sleep podcast that doesn't put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. There is no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour, but I'm not here to put you to sleep. There's people who are listening who can't sleep at all. So I'm here. I'm going to be here to the very end of the show, whether you're awake or asleep, and you don't have to worry. Oh, when's the show going to end? No, it's over an hour. That's on purpose. And I'm just going to be here rambling as your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your bore bud, your neighbor, your bore bee, your bores, your boreman, your borloff, your bore. I had some other terms, but I always forget what they are. Your bore sib, your bore cuz, your bore bruh, your best boyfriend forever. I'm here to keep you company. Just like if you called me or you FaceTime me, you said, hey, talk to me about nothing, man. But you can't say that exactly. Say, hey, tell me about, isn't there a butterfly you're friends with who lives in your backyard that moved in with you? Oh, yeah. I haven't told you about that before. Yeah, could you tell me a story about that? Well, I could have him on. Yeah, I could put him on the phone if you want. He's my butterfly neighbor, Bernie. Really? So you're friends with, oh, yeah. I mean, we're not friends. We're more friendly. But yeah, he's a butterfly. Does he like reading Rainbow? No, it's actually funny you say that. He does not like reading Rainbow. He likes sport drinks. Really? Your friend? Yeah. So I'll just talk about him for about 40 minutes or so. Or actually, I'll talk about him for 10, and then he's going to come on and talk about kitty cats for a while. Oh, okay. But yeah, you don't really have to pay attention or listen to me. I'll just keep talking and rambling on and on and on. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So that's kind of how the show works. It's a podcast you don't listen to, doesn't put you to sleep, keeps you company while you fall asleep. Or some people listen because they can't sleep at all or they need a break during the day. The only other thing, though, is the structure of the show, which is intentional. The show kind of has 3 phases. The greeting phase, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, right, kind of warm you up to the podcast and welcome you in. Then there's support, so paying for the podcast is optional. That's a lot of people's preferred way of listening. And then there's a long, meandering intro that comes after the support, totally separate from the support. We're already 20 minutes into or so. And the intro is meant to ease you into bedtime for 15 to 25 minutes, where I just talk about the structure of the show in a very inefficient way to ease you into bedtime. Then there'll be our bedtime story. So most people like listening to this ad-supported version and winding down, getting ready for bed, or chilling out during this intro part. And then they fall asleep during the story, or they set a sleep timer, or some people don't. some people listen all night. I usually suggest if you're listening all night to do like ad-free version, but, yeah, and then some people like listen to episodes in like 20 or 30-minute chunks or whatever. And you could do that all in your podcast app. But if you prefer something without these wind downs, we got bedtime stories from Sleep With Me that just has the stories. But when you're new, try this out, because having a bedtime routine and a wind down has really worked for me most of the time, and a lot of other people. It doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but try it and see. So yeah, that's kind of the structure of the show, and why it's kind of like because we want to bring you in and ease you into bedtime. I guess, yeah, I already said that 4 or 5 times, right? So I don't know. I guess that's it. I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. You're in a nice drive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. I appreciate you checking the show out. If you're new, regular listeners, welcome back. Couldn't do without all of you. I'm really happy you're here, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks so much for listening. And here are a couple ways we're able to do this for you regularly. Thanks. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Mint Mobile. And you know what cell phone plan Scoots has? A Mint Mobile plan. I ported my number over Mint Mobile. So when I'm singing Summertime, or any of those songs and listening to it as I walk and sing, it's going to be coming through Mint Mobile. When I send a text to my dad and say, Dad, I love you. Happy Father's Day. That's going to be on Mint Mobile. And when I look up directions to take my daughter to school, it's going to be using Mint Mobile. So I don't know what your summertime plans are, but mine are having fun, family, putting people to sleep, obviously. And my phone is always going to be a part of that. But the thing is, I don't want to be paying mind-bogglingly high, confusing cell phone bills. And that's why I moved over to Mint Mobile. That's why I'm talking about Mint Mobile. I mean, all the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You could use your phone. You could bring your phone number like I did, all your existing contacts. And just like I did, I got rid of one of those big 3 carriers and said goodbye to this gigantic bill every single month. So how about you? You think it's time for you to ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month? This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/sleepwithme. That's mintmobile.com/sleepwithme. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and this is a episode of the podcast I didn't expect to be making 2 episodes about. But it's interesting because I got to return to the comforting chair on Thursday because of an unexpected popcorn incident. So, I didn't even think about that. So this episode was originally supposed to be, this is a companion episode because I did an episode related to the posters of kitty cats where they're hanging from branches and, Snuggles, or oh dear, or hang on, or you're doing great. I can't remember what the one at my comforting chair place said, the old place where they shine your shiners. But it probably said hang on, or you're doing great. Or I don't think it said don't forget to smile, but that would have been ironic. Because you say, oh, that's interesting, because is the cat supposed to be smiling? But maybe the cat feels how I feel right now. So this episode, even though I introduced Bernie the Butterfly on the other episode, this episode will feature Bernie the Butterfly. I'm only laughing because last time he didn't show up to the interview, an episode that he was supposed to host. So this is the second time I'm introducing him, but I'm sure he's listening right now, or I'm 90% sure that he will show up. So I did remember some positive things that I didn't say about Bernie last time. So, few things to know about Bernie. So Bernie is a butterfly. He seems to be from the New York area, but he doesn't like to talk about the past. And he first appeared on Sleep With Me a long, long time ago. Oh, but a couple other things that are important for you to know. Bernie loves boy bands and sport drinks. And against all advice about butterflies and we have tried to, like, limit his sport drinks because they said you're not a hummingbird. Because, I mean, even a hummingbird you shouldn't give sport drinks to, right? But, use your imagination. Bernie loves sport drinks. It's my fault. I guess but if you're listening, don't ever give a butterfly sport drink. Don't give sport drinks to non-humans. Unless, you're supposed, like if someone says, oh, yeah, give that, I can't imagine it's ever been a good idea. But that's how we got here. So Bernie loves sport drinks and boy bands. And not much else. Nature. Bernie, the reason Bernie first came on the show was, I don't even know what brought it on. I mean, I guess I could give you the whole back. So Bernie was a butterfly. We covered that. And we first crossed paths, I don't know if it was before or after I started the podcast, because that's kind of a blur. I mean, when you meet a sentient butterfly, it gets in your mind, you're probably picturing, holy cow, that'd be great, right? Or, I have so many questions, and the butterflies, it didn't go like that. I didn't expect to meet a butterfly. Especially that talked a bit like a cab driver from not even a B movie from the 1950s to 80s or something, or like Buster Poindexter in the Scrooged. But I guess if you're wondering, that's probably, they probably have a lot to do with each other. I mean, maybe I've thought of it before. Buster Poindexter also played someone in The Little Mermaid, right? Or am I wrong about that? Don't know. So Bernie, I met him in the backyard of not the backyard, a place I lived when I started the podcast. Wow, this could be, he's going to be, I don't know if he'll be upset with me or that I'm using up so much of his time, or happy. Either way, I'm not doing it. Okay, but once upon a time, I lived in a different apartment than I live in now. And it was where I live, whatever, a lot of homes got changed into apartments, right? So it was probably a home at some point that was divided into 4 one-bedroom apartments. And I lived in one of the 2 ground floor apartments. And I had a door that opened up to the back driveway. And there was a little bit of grass and stuff, and that's how Co would go to the bathroom, right? And there was 1 parking spot for each apartment. But next door was an empty lot. And at different times we tried to plant stuff there, but then, it was I think it was owned by more than one person. So I don't know. Anyway, so that's where I met Bernie, in that lot. It was especially for urban area, you don't see a lot of wild lots. And so this was a wild lot. And I met him there, butterfly. Now, at some point, again, some of this is foggy. If you listen to archives of the podcast, you might find out more. Bernie came on the podcast. Now, I'm just going to talk about what I remember now, because I'm always wrong, but that's what it's about. That's okay. That's what Making a Sleep podcast is about. What I remember is Bernie's episode was called Nature Talks Back or something. And he would say, ba-boom, And I think, I don't know how we filled almost an hour. With the intro, 40 minutes, because I thought he only came on here to talk about his displeasure with LeVar Burton, who we love, by the way. I love, and Reading Rainbow. He was just very unhappy with the fact butterflies in the sky, I can fly twice as high. And I think he just wanted to go. That's all I really remember. From there, Now, this is a very important moment in the history of the podcast because there was something I've never called before, but I guess I would call it the Bernie effect. And this predates Bernie. I mean, it doesn't predate the other Bernie, the famous one, but we're talking 2013, maybe 2014 when Bernie the Butterfly came on the podcast. So this wasn't like a pop culture thing. It was just a butterfly named Bernie. Very alliterative, luckily, but the Bernie effect was Ray, my neighbor Ray, would have never gone on the pod. I'm not even kidding. Like, so this may be new news to real listeners. I think I've talked about it before, but maybe not. Like, Ray would have never gone on the podcast. I would have never invited him to be a guest if it wasn't for the Bernie effect, which was like, so when I make these podcasts, right, I record it and I'm listening to myself while I'm recording it. Then, especially in the early days, as soon as I was done recording it, it would go into editing because I was like recording episodes like days or hours before they would come out. And so when you're editing it, you probably have to listen to the episode like you're editing it, and then you listen to it again after you edit it at least once. Back then, probably only once, but ideally it gets listened to a few times. And you say, okay, like, and this was the first episode where I was like, this is different for a sleep pod. Even though sleep podcasts weren't a thing back then, even then I'm like, this is different for a sleep podcast. I would say ILL mannered or temperatured butterfly coming on a podcast that's supposed to put people to sleep. And I even got feedback. Now, the feedback was at first, like, I thought it was not positive feedback, but it was actually just that Bernie, because he was from the New York metropolitan area, or sounded like it, he reminded people of people in their lives from that area. And maybe the people had the same type of disposition as Bernie. But I immediately took it as, oh boy, like, I got to find some way to like balance out the energy in the podcast. And I just happened to know my neighbor, Ray. I mean, he really is. And it turns out now Bernie and Ray are very close. Bernie lives with both of us. But you think, I was like, I'm like, what's the lifespan of the butterfly, man? Like, come on already. But he couldn't hear that. He went upstairs. But it's true. I said, wait a second. Like, Googled, it's like top Google searches for Scooter. Lifespan of a butterfly. He's Googled that 11,000 times. So that's a little butterfly humor. So I had Ray on because I said Ray is the most positive, well-adjusted person I've ever met. And he only sees, he's not perfect, but he really sees a lot of the good in things. So I had him on right away. Like, I'm not even kidding. As soon as I got that feedback and I listened to the episode, like, because Sleep With Me is about, like, taking what idea of a bedtime story, right, and staying right on the, seeing where we could take that concept. It's always been about that, even back then. And then parsing and then being like, what's odd, who's like, but always like exploring the idea of what it is. So the idea of having Bernie on fit the thing, but I don't know. So we got two great things out of it. Now, Bernie doesn't come on that often because, well, you'll know soon enough. But he does tend to be a fan favorite. But it's also like, I don't know. You can't have. I don't know who. I don't even think I can't even think of a celebrity other than Bernie the Butterfly that fits it, like where you're like, every 4 years. Every 4 years, I love it. I mean, he does do some parade coverage, but I just don't know. I mean, we couldn't produce more than occasional Bernie episodes. So that being said, the reason Bernie's here today, well, it's twofold because we have a new way of we have a new randomizer for the stories to test out. And this whole cat thing, I said, wait a second, cats and Bernie, like he's going to have some opinions. So I think that's it. Like, so Bernie is a butterfly and he's from, I don't know. He does sound like a cab driver. But without further ado, I'm going to let Bernie take it over. And Bernie, you're supposed to talk about cats, kitty cats hanging from, you're supposed to tell a story, right? So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the friends beyond the binary. This is Bernie the Butterfly here. Good to see all of yous. And yeah, I'm a butterfly. Right now, it's in a pretty good mood till this guy just keeps talking and talking and talking. I said, holy mackerel, what are you going to keep talking? I thought you was going to be on the show. Also, by the way, he said I didn't show up to his recording. Like I'm a butterfly on demand. I'm not a butterfly stream. You know, this isn't BSS, Bernie's streaming service, BOD, butterfly on demand. I'm not just going to show up. Sometimes I need to take a nap or something. I mean, when you're the butterfly with the most longevity in the history of the world, he just rolled his. You don't think I heard that up there? Yeah, I heard that. I heard what you were saying about me. So anyway, I'm here on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate Scooter and Ray's friendship, even though they said butterfly. They have this whole thing with the sport drinks. I said that's fine. Kirkland's fine with me, or whatever store brand. And they said it's not the cost of the I said, Powerade, Gatorade, or like Adam on Nightwater, so Lucasade. I'd like to have some Lucas. I mean, they said the bubbles, Bernie, but they said butterflies aren't supposed to have this. And I said, butterflies, right? Like generally butterflies, not me. And I guess you could say the proof's in the pudding, because who's laughing? So save your letters for other things. Don't feed butterfly this, but it's not butterflies. Scooter's not saying give butterflies sport drinks. Every time I see a butterfly, I say, don't get any ideas over there. Go eat the butterflies. I'm different. There's no other butterflies named Bernie the Butterfly. So there's that, okay? So I'm here. I'm glad to be here to put you to sleep in your ears. And some of you might be going, what's going on over here? And I'd say, well, it's good to be here. I'm talking as calm as I can. Because Scooter said, okay, we'll make a trip to Costco if you can stay calm and record the episode and you show up. So I said, Scooter, don't worry. I'm an expert. I know what I'm doing. So just give me the microphone and I'll take it from there. So my name's Bernie. I'm a butterfly. I'm here. Scooter wants me to read these phonetic sentences and come up with a story. But I told him I said, holy, tell me what you want me to, kitty cat on a picture. Oh boy, ain't that cute. Don't you know anything about cats and butterflies, podcast boy? We used to call him Pod Boy. I said, what do you want a butterfly to come on here and tell a nice story about a cat? I'm a butterfly. I got wings. I'm gentle. I'm delicate. And, luckily I live in a home. I'm not out there like the rest of my people. But you could be around, sniffing a flower, maybe looking at a caterpillar saying, hey, how you doing? Don't worry. One day you'll be like me, maybe. I don't know what you are, if you're a butterfly caterpillar or something else, but, I'm a butterfly, not a scientist. But, and then a kitty cat could be around. Now, it's usually a cat. Kitty cats we can usually, so Scooter said, like he made one of his noises. He makes, you wouldn't believe on the noises he makes like that. But he said, actually, yeah, I'd like you to tell a story about it. That's kind of like when he calls somebody about his anything. Hello, could I call? Like his voice changes. So when he does it, like when he wants you to do something, do you think you could pick up the Gatorade bottles? I said, oh boy, there's Mama Scooter coming in. That's not the pod boy. Okay, well, so he says to me, yeah, can you do an episode about the cats? But he did it in his voice, right? But I got to remember to keep it in my voice. Keep it calm, Bernie. Keep it calm, keep it slow, so I can get my Kirkland signature on. Oh boy, 30, I think it's a 30-pack there. In a variety. Ah, man, ice cold. I'll have a lukewarm, ice cold. I'll like it all. It tastes different, They taste different to me. But he said, okay, could you just use these phonetic sentences and the cat? And it's about a cute kitty cat. And it's on a poster. And I said, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the glorification of cats in your culture. And... I don't get it. Like butterflies, we're only good for symbolism, right? Or metaphors. Butterflies are people. We're not people too, but, and most butterflies aren't like me, right? I was, imbued with powers beyond my understanding. But if you think it's easy being, a longevity butterfly with thought and feelings, you're probably like me. You're human. I have human qualities that I was bestowed upon me, apparently, but I don't even know. I'm just running on an assumption. But anyway, Scooter does say please. He explains to me, it'll help people fall asleep, and you can just tell a story about cats. And I said about a cat poster. One. It's not about a cat. It's a kitty cat, and it's a kitty cat poster. And he said, okay, well, if you're willing to do that, I think we could agree. Then he told me a bunch of times and places to be. I said, whoa. Again, like I said, I'm not even ready to pencil it in. Because people, I know these listeners, they love me. I get it. Ray he's a people pleaser, but having me on is kind of like an honor. And they say in the song, "On your honor, on your artwork." Scooter doesn't explain that enough in the song at the beginning of the show. It's on your honor, on your artwork. I don't know why I wanted to clear that up, but so I'm here for nature to talk back. But I ain't gonna talk bad about cats. I'm gonna tell you a story. Because cats are just out there doing the best, really. It's humans. Now, what are the good qualities about humans that I like? Scooter and Ray, not bad. Tommen, what is Tommen's fake name? I forgot. And the Greg, Mikey. Tommen goes, we still call him Tommen. But, he's supposed to go by Mikey because Scooter said you're not allowed to take fictional characters into the real world, apparently. Okay, so here I am, Bernie the Butterfly. I'm going to tell you a story, right? So sit back, get comfortable. Because once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a world just like ours. Now, there's a world of cats and there's a world of people, right? Now, you may not be, but now I'm bridging it. You say, okay, I'm hearing a butterfly tell me a bedtime story. I could also believe in this story about kitty cats. Now, once upon a time, I gotta look at these sentences. So, sorry, Scooter said, so apparently these are sentences of something about phonemic, something. Speech quality measurements. What are you talking about? You're going to rate my quality of my speech? Okay, so I'm going to use this here. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks over there. The birch canoe slid on the smooth planks. Oh boy, did it. Holy cow. And yeah, this is where our story begins. On a placid pond where a birch canoe is floating across the pond. And in that canoe is a radio and a couple of humans listen to the radio. And this just happened to be a time that you may not be familiar with because it's imaginary over here. But it was a time before New Kids on the Block, which if anybody knows, there ain't nothing, you say, I mean, there's some things, menudo, like there's, but like, pre New Kids on the Block, you got to work at it, Oh, when we're talking about, we're talking about what's important at this point, boy bands, right? Okay, but this was an imaginary time before that, where there just happened to be a band, a bit like New Kids on the Block, playing on the canoe on a radio. And this canoe was paddling and going through, but on a peaceful pond, sound carries. And, not like not far across the pond, there was like construction going on. Now, the construction going on was a home to a bunch of cats. But they didn't actually, this was it was a cabin right at a state park that was normally rented out. And the cats just happened to live under the cabin. And I mean, it was pretty nice. They had it set up. They had been there a while and they knew what they were doing. These weren't just your regular cats because they were in a story. I mean, it wouldn't be in a story if they were just regular cats. You know what I'm saying? And you got these guys, these humans working on the house. They obviously are like normal humans. They know everything. Oh boy, do they. And they're like, check it out over there with the canoe. They got that band with the kids singing and dancing over there. It's making me, I'm trying to glue the sheet to the dark blue background over here. And and the other guy's like, oh, yeah, pass it over here. I'll glue the sheet to the dark blue background over here. And they said, yeah, what are they singing about? Popcorn and ice cream or something? And I thought they were singing about first dates. But there was something, I think it was the popcorn and the ice cream, that there was a bunch of kittens under the house. Now, these weren't like baby kittens, but they weren't like the closest thing you could say to they'd entered the age where the magic of boy bands. And, okay, by the way, when I say boy bands, I realize it's a very restrictive term. And as a butterfly, I transcend so I'm using it as even though it's a specific term, I'm using it in a general way. Because, not all, I think you know what I'm saying. I'm not just saying boy bands have to, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying boy bands but I don't know what else to use because just sound, anyway, I just wanted to point that out. It doesn't have to be boys in a boy band. I'm trying to capture the essence of it. But so these kitty cats, right, they hear something, but they were just getting older, and not quite ready to be out on their own, but also ready to be out on their own. And they said, they started listening to the guys working on the cabin. And it was a bit of a thing for them because they were wondering, right, what's going on with this cabin. Most of the time people come for 4 or 5 days. Now these humans, they never they think, I rent a cabin at the state park. It gives me the run of the land. I'm going to eat my popcorn and I'm going to, you ever watch a human eat popcorn? Holy moly. I know you're humans, but do yourself a favor. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to do yourself a favor. All of yous have different ways of eating popcorn. That's, what are you doing? That's all I could say when I'm watching yous. Because they say, isn't it supposed to go what are you doing? You guys need not a bib, but some sort of saucer around you. Because you're either putting too much in there or not enough, and you miss it most of the time. But so this worked for these cats, right? Because then the people would go there, rent a place for 5 days, they'd leave, and you got your Pringles, you got your popcorn, you got your s'mores, ingredients. Then Now, these cats were smart enough to avoid anything they weren't supposed to eat, but it was kind of like paradise for them. And it was like, they had the whole setup, right? A very temperate environment, they lived in a, 3-season type place. So this cabin was, underneath the cabin was paradise. It was a foundation, but it didn't have no, what do you call it? I don't know. It wasn't a finished basement. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, these cats, what was I saying? They liked the people would leave them food. Oh, so they were like, what's going on? Like, what if our way of life is disrupted here? We got it pretty good. So that what they would do is hide the workers' tools and mess around with that kind of stuff. It's very cute, I mean, if you're not one of the workers, and the workers, they didn't know. So it was kind of funny because they, like most humans, they're not the brightest. So they'll be like, yo, where's my paintbrush over here? They'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. By the way, I brought 4 jerkies and I got 2 of them. You help yourself to my jerky? No, I don't, So that was like pretty much a day on that work site. But the cats were always up to stuff. And they heard this mention of popcorn and stuff. So they came out, and they look at these guys gluing stuff. And then they started playing around. It kind of comes naturally to cats, especially young cats. They, I don't know. I mean, it's one of the things honestly, I don't tell any other butterflies, but I admire about them is the playfulness. That, like, especially the young cats, when you get older, which we'll get to, but they say, oh, we're going to get a paint. Oh, I'm going to run over here. Okay, I'm going to chase you, buddy. I'm going to try to keep up. And then they got to the edge of this wishing well, right? Right on the edge, like on a little bit of a hill overlooking this pond. So you could make a wish. Really nice situation, by the way. Because you could sit there and make a wish if you were a human or a kitty cat in this situation, which we're going to talk about. Because you could sit there, you could make a wish, you could enjoy the pond, the well, you could look at the pond. You got your sunrise, you got your sunset, you got all of it. And actually, this was a pretty deep well because it had to go below the water, like it went down to the water table below the same water. Like in order to get real water that wasn't from this pond, it had to go, I don't understand water table stuff, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's like a limestone or whatever, but it was a deep well. So the cat says, the 2 cats there, like looking over the well, catching the breath, and the one cat's just looking down there. And to a cat, just like a human, it's like, oh boy, it's a deep well. I can't even see all the way down there. And the other cat says, it's easy to tell the depths of a well. And the cat said, well, what do you mean? And the cat said, watch. And the cat went and grabbed a pebble. And then, I mean, it's like, don't you remember? We do this every day. Then you push the pebble over and then you count. And then the cat said, the other cat said, well, what do you mean? Like, so it took whatever, 7 minutes. So yes, 7 Mississippi deep. If we dropped in, if we go to another well in the future, it's only 3 Mississippi deep, but we know it's like a little bit more, less. I don't like if it was 3.5 Mississippis, it'd be half as deep, maybe. And the other cat said, man, you're always like, know that kind of stuff, huh? And the cat said, I guess I do over here. And then the cat said, Now, meanwhile, these two jokers that were working on the house, these 2 clowns, the one of them is like, they're getting ready to wrap the day up. Now, one of them was like, had like a radio, a battery powered radio. And they were kind of making fun of, like, it was a couple out there in the birch canoe, right? And they were playing the, like, New Kids type music, because, you know, that has the same kind of themes they were experiencing in the hearts of young, you know, love and tingling and stuff. But these two jokers, you know, they're not even minding their own business. They're watching these two, 19-year-olds out in a canoe. They weren't even canoodling, but they, you know, these two, they got to make a human thing about it all. So meanwhile, they're like the one of them's like, hey, tune into the boy bands, you know, ha ha. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he says, it's easy these days. Chickens are rare. And then he tunes into the boy band, and he throws the what do you call it, the radio thing down to the other guy because they're getting ready to leave for the day. And there's a boy band music playing. Now, these cats, they hadn't really heard anything like this because this was like some sort of album release day. So they were like playing the whole new album. And I mean, this was some sort of pop music, right? And again, I'm not going to make it about me and my taste in pop music, but it had the hooks, it had the chorus, it had the feel-good feels, it had, you know, the parts where you're tearing up and all that. And these two cats, even immediately, you know, because they had like all the different, I don't know, the music things, tenor, sax, you know, whatever, alto. These kids could sing, is all I'm saying. And these cats were like, holy cow. Now, they looked at each other like I never felt anything like this in my life. Now, meanwhile, these two clowns are joking around, but they're not paying attention because, you know, they're humans. They know everything. What do you think? Is that glue going to hold it up there? I don't know. And they go... like they take, they're doing stuff. So the cats, like, they grab the radio and it takes both of them, right, to move this thing. And, you know, again, if you're watching this, you're like, holy moly. Now, first these cats knew what they were doing. Kind of like, they dragged it under a picnic table. Now, meanwhile, they got kind of lucky because one of the guys goes and starts his truck up and it's like, you know, some truck that's got, like, you know, this guy's got a, you know, even if his mouth wasn't big enough, the truck makes it even bigger. Like, it's making all this rumbling noise and stuff like that. And I think he thought it was funny because the couple's out there trying to enjoy the pond. And you got to ask why, you know, why I say nature's got to talk. I say, what are you doing with the truck over there? These people are trying to enjoy nature. And then now, meanwhile, I might say these cats are trying to enjoy it, whatever. So, okay, so the cats, the guys, they don't hear that the radio's still on. And, of course, they assume each one of them shut it off. The other guy hops in the truck, and they take off. The work day is done. Now, the two cats, they stop pulling the radio. And there's, where are you going with the radio? And the other cat says, I got an idea. I want to hear something. And it says, what? And he goes, well, the way the sound sounds when the like the thing, the pebble, and when we're talking, like, you know, when we yell into the well. And the cat said, like, you know, cats don't have long-term, these particular kitty cats didn't have the best long-term memory. So that kind of explains some of the story holes. They might be like, I don't get it. And it's, yeah, because you can't relate to cats, but I'm helping you. Okay, so they take the radio over to the, it takes them a while to get this thing over there. They're dragging the radio over, right, to the well. And then the other cat's like, why are we doing this again? And it says, okay, trust me, hop up here. And then he goes and yells into the well. He says, these rice is often served in round bowls, bowls. Says, hear the echo? And the cat's like, yeah. And he goes, I want to see he goes, can't you feel it inside you? And the cat goes, yeah. And it goes like physically inside me. And it goes like this music from the music box I could feel inside me, but not physically inside me, but inside me. And the cat's like, well, what do you mean? So you're saying we're going to get in the well with the music and it'll be inside of us and inside of us. And the cat says, I mean, we got nothing to do anyway. Why don't we try? And the other cat says, okay. So then it takes them some figuring. I mean, these must have been highly intelligent cats because this well did have a real bucket, and it had like the, whatever the thing is, like the levers and the like pulleys and all that kind of stuff. And so these cats, it took them a while, but they said, okay, first we're going to loosen the rope. Then we got to push it over here to the edge and then knock it over the edge. And if you were watching this, you would like, I don't even know what you'd do. Like, you'd say, this isn't the cutest thing I've seen in my life, but it's pretty darn cute. Because, you know, they had to do a lot of jumping. They're very coordinated, these two. And they're working together. And meanwhile, there's like boy band music playing. I mean, it should have been a video. Like that band could have just shot this whole thing. Okay, so eventually what they do is they get the bucket. So the bucket it has slack, and it's on the outside of the well. And then they put the radio into the bucket. Then they needed to take a break and rest and stuff like that. Okay, then they had to, like, reel. That took a lot of work. But, you know, these two, they knew what they were doing. And they get the thing reeled back up, right? So that the well, like it looks like your typical archetypal well, except that there's a radio in the bucket, and it's like hanging above. And then now this was where they got lucky, at least initially, right? Because they're like, okay, let's lower a little bit and see what it sounds like if we're just around the well. We don't want to just go straight into the well. And, I don't know. They didn't quite have it figured out. But so the cats are like, the bucket's hanging over the well. And then the music's coming out. Like the bucket is like lowered, you know, into the well, but only like 1 foot down, I guess is what I'm saying. And, like listening to this music. Now, because of the music, what they couldn't hear, and because of like stereophonics affecting cats' hearing, maybe, what they didn't hear is this canoe lands over there, right? And there's a couple of the two humans that were on a date or whatever. They're like, hey, what do you want to do? They pull the canoe out of the water. And then before they rent it, like bring it to the car, the one human goes to the like, the juice of lemons makes a fine punch. And they said, well, I have a little lemon in my punch, but not a lot. And I said, well, it's just lemonade. I got lemonade. Oh, sounds good. Hey, you hear that? There's like, the band, like, it's like our radio's playing somewhere else, but it's like, it sounds weird. She goes, well, to me, it sounds weird. And he goes, it's like hollow or something. And he heads over to where the cats are. Now, the cats, like, eventually they hear, they got the cat sense or whatever. So they hop down, like, behind, like, the well on the far side from this human coming towards them. And the human gets over there, and he's like, oh, what's this? There's a radio in the well bucket, and it's playing, it's the same channel. He calls over his date over there, and they go like, what the, who would have known? Because they don't see the cats, and the workers are gone. And they're looking around. They're like, some prankster did it to him or something. So he rolls it back up, and then he goes to take it, and she goes, no, don't take it. Like now we're surrounded by music. I got lemonade, and let's go back and, we'll lay down the picnic blanket and have a snack and have some lemonade. And like maybe like hubba, hubba, hubba. And they say, okay, yeah, I'll meet you over there. Okay, now she goes over to get the lemonade and the picnic basket and all that kind of stuff. Now this other guy, right? He's standing there and he's listening, and she for a second he's just savoring the moment. Now you know you think I'm like all positive on humans, but don't worry, I got a point coming, right? But then he goes and he starts walking. Now, these cats, another thing about cats is they have impulse control issues for cats, especially young cats. That's why earlier I was going to say you couldn't have a band with kitty cats called New Cats on the Block because, they would say, oh, boy, don't bring any new cats on the block over here. Like, you want to talk about, like, that wouldn't be like a boy band. It'd be like a rebel band, you know. Hey, kitty cat son, what are you listening to? New Cats on the Block. What do you mean? There's new cats on our block? We got to take action. We can't let that happen, you know. And that's like a traditional cat impulse. But so these two, as soon as this guy's walking away, they want to get back, the thing back into the well. And one of them's kind of like, yeah. But the other one, he jumps up, right, and like just out of instinct grabs the bucket to put some more weight on it. And he's hanging from a well. Now, at exactly that time, the batteries start to die on the radio. So this human turns around, and now the cat sees the human. He's hanging from the bucket of the well. Now, not only that, but meanwhile, his date, she like had taken out a camera while she was like, oh, maybe, you know, this would be like this is a photogenic situation. It's almost magic hour over here. So she gets out a camera. So radio batteries start to die. So it starts to get slower, and the boy band drifts away behind him. In front of him is still playing. And so he starts to turn around. Now, meanwhile, she's got like some zoom things on a camera, whatever, you know. And she didn't even realize it in the moment. She's like, oh, this is just my beau, you know. He's turning around. I love the way he moves, you know. Now he turns around. He sees a cat hanging from a bucket above a well. And now this is like she happens to take his picture, then sees the cat, then zooms on the cat, then takes a picture. So it is captured as a moment in time. Now he moves. Now he doesn't realize, you know, whatever, cats will take care of ourselves kind of thing. But he did move, and the cat kind of let him, and he put his hands under the cat, and now the cat let him. Even though the cat was like, yo, I got this, you know, I don't need any human helping me. The human did move so quickly to help he thought the cat was hanging there. Like, he's like, oh, you found yourself on a bucket. That's not a wish you want to make, kitty cat. Let me help you there. Now, meanwhile, like, she's taking the pictures of the cat on the bucket, and him rescuing the cat. Oh, my hero, whole 9 yards. So then, he helps the cat. The cat's like, oh, boy, like, what happened with the radio? That human looked at it, stopped working. So they just leave the radio sitting there in the bucket, don't work anymore, according to the cat, you know, for the cats. I mean, spoiler, those workers would show up the next day and be like, oh, those kids moving our radio away. Need new D batteries. But meanwhile, the cats, you know, they went on to the business after that, these two cats. Now, one of them, the cat that was hanging, was a really good-looking cat, right? And now, fast forward, right, those two were like, oh, yeah, let's go develop our film. This was back when you'd had to develop your film over there. So eventually they developed a film, and they're looking at these pictures, you know, they're still heady with love, and they see this cat hanging from the bucket, and she was zooming, so she got like all sorts of distance, you know, the guy and the cat at a distance, a full frame shot of the cat in the bucket, and then a zoom in shot, And the cat had a cute look on its face because it was filled with, on the inside, the cat had physical echoes of boy band music and, the after effects of pop music, which stays in your system, for at least 5 or 6 minutes longer than the song. So the cat kind of had a look of bliss because the cat, also the cat was thrilled for jumping and trying to get the music back. The cat was physically attached to the music until the battery died. So it had quite a look of ecstasy on its face, but also for a human, you don't know what cat ecstasy looks like. Believe me, you're lucky. You don't want to, but, so these two are looking at the picture, cracking up. Holy macaroni, right? This is the funniest thing we ever seen. Look at this cat. And they also knew that it ended well for the cat, right? And they're thinking of captions for the cat. Now, here's the human side of the story, right? Those two are laughing, yucking it up. Now, meanwhile, this girl's father, oh boy, human city, right? He hears them laughing in the dark room in the house, and they come out of it. He goes, "Oh, what's going on with the laughing over there? Were you cracking up? You think you're so funny for my daughter?" And they laughing still, he can't even take the shine off of the laughter. He goes, "Oh boy, it must be good because you two are still cracking up." And she's like, yeah. You got to see this. And they show it to him. Now, this guy, he's a corporate type, so he doesn't even get it. She says, "What is it for a cat in a bucket?" And then they keep laughing. And she goes, "Look at this face of the cat. Look at how it's hanging. Look at it. It's like it's talking." And he's like, "What's it saying?" And she says, "Oh, 4 letters." And he goes, "Oh, 4 letters. So wait a second. It is it's saying, 4 letters." And he says, "Wow. Now, this guy, he works for Big Poster International." And he says, "I think this could be the next thing." He goes, "Everybody says I'm not funny around work." He goes, "But this could be the next thing at work here." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, I'm going to can I take this to work? She goes, "I guess so." It's just a picture of a cat hanging from a bucket. Now again, your human world, they had to restage this photo, obviously. But that's how that cat got on a poster, was this dad not minding his own business. Forever lives in history. Scooter, I'm sure, told a much different version where, love won out of over. Now, these two were in love, at least, so that's good. And the cats, they had boy band in the hearts for the rest of the days. And those 2 workers, eventually, they said, "What'd you glue a board to the cabin for? Hit the road." So it actually did turn out good for everybody. And then, this dad, he ended up, Poster International, Big Poster International, they were like, "This is it. This is the next big thing for the history of the world. This would be probably one of the best-selling posters of all time." But that's really the story behind it. This is one when nature talks back. Bernie's got his opinions about things, but it's not actually that bad of a story, right? And it shows the power of pop music, which, is a good thing. Some people may have opinions about it. And, why cats and butterflies don't necessarily get along, but I could say positive things about cats. So that's it from Bernie the Butterfly. I hope you enjoyed this episode here. Good night and sleep well, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks. All right, everybody, Scoots here. It's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. And I don't know how long you've been listening to Sleep With Me, but I've probably been sleeping in my Helix for as long as you've been listening, but more than likely even longer than you've been listening. And I love my Helix because it's made for me and how I sleep, my feel preferences, my needs. I know because here's the thing, you just take a quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. And you answer a few questions. You get matched with the mattress that's right for you, not the mattress that's right for me. Helix has tons of different mattress models to choose from, but I'm getting ready to move. I love my Helix so much. I'm kind of going back and forth on should I just buy a new Helix when I move, or should I move my Helix? Should I do both? The issue probably is that my move's going to be spread out because of some other stuff I have going on. But yeah, these are a few of the things that I say, man, I need this Helix in my life. Now think about that fact. I love my mattress so much. I'm thinking about all my options. So think about the mattress you're in. Do you love it so much you would pay more than, to pay to move it, which pretty much equals the cost of buying it? Or would you, you say, well, I don't want to be without my Helix for 2 weeks. Even if my Helix is just on my bedroom floor, I don't want to be without it. Like, is that the relationship you have with your mattress? Like, you want it at your side? You want it there? No matter what? Because if it's not the case, it's time for you to think about getting a new bed and take that Helix quiz and see what your options are. Helix has you and your sleep needs in mind. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during their 4th of July sale happening now. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive 4th of July sale offer. 27% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Good night.